Hey there, guys, and happy Thursday. I'm delighted you are able to join me this evening. Thank you to all of the guests, the viewers, and the supporters. Without you, we wouldn't have the Indie Spotlight Special Edition or the Indie Spotlight. I am your host, Shayrenee, and I have a new YouTube channel entitled The Indie Spotlight Philly. You can watch all of the past and present episodes of the Indie Spotlight Special Edition and the Indie Spotlight. So just go to the link in my bio to subscribe to my new YouTube channel to watch full-length episodes of all of the past and present episodes of the Indie Spotlight Special Edition and the Indie Spotlight. I also have a podcast entitled The Indie Spotlight Philly, which is available on Spotify, Anchor.fm, and Google Podcasts. Okay, so like, share, and subscribe, and listen to the first season that I have uploaded there. But tonight's episode of the Indie Spotlight Special Edition Thursdays, happening on Instagram Live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is a great one. Philadelphia entrepreneur, tax fixer, gun violence advocate, and mentor, Mr. John Mckay, is joining us, and he's here. So I want to wave to everyone, and let me bring him to the camera. I also want to tell everyone before I bring him to the camera, please keep your comments at a minimum so we don't distract the guests, but you can ask as many questions as you want in the question box below. Just waiting. I think I connected right. Um, I think I sent, let me make sure I sent this to you. Hi,
Hey, what's going on, Queen? How are you?
how are you?
I'm blessed by the best, praying for the rest. How you doing?
Great. I'm great. I wanted to tell you thank you for being so reachable, and for me to be able to contact you and for you to come on and do this interview.
It's my pleasure. Don't mind, pardon me. I'm just sending it out to my followers, through that quick list. But it's an honor and a privilege to be on your platform, Queen. Um, you know, I'm around. We gonna get into it. I'm gonna let you drive the conversation. And it's my privilege and honor to be on your platform, and Lord's will be done. I'll always be accessible to you and whoever else. Only thing that will be conflicting with me is the schedule, but other than that, I'm around. Can you hear me? Are you there?
Oh, yes, yes, I'm here. I can hear you. Can you see me and hear me?
Yeah. Well, I was sending out the. I couldn't see you because I was sending it out to that little short list or whatever.
Sure,
But
sure.
I'm all yours, Queen. What's going
Okay.
on?
Great, great. Um, so you are from Philadelphia, but what part of Philadelphia are you from?
North Philly, Erie Avenue to be exact, slash Girard College. I gotta throw Girard College in there. I was born and raised. I mean, not born and raised. I went to Girard from second to 12th grade. And
Great,
so, for
great.
those that don't know, Girard is a boarding school. So I lived
Mm-hmm.
there from second to I think fourth grade. We actually only went home Sunday morning and came back Sunday night. And then in either fourth or fifth grade, we started going home every Friday and coming back on Sundays, and we go home. We went home for the summer. So that's where I was raised, between Erie Avenue and Girard College.
Great, great. This is where I'm stationed at too. I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
So where can people find you at? I know that they can find you here on Instagram, but is there anywhere else that people can find you at, say a website or Facebook or YouTube?
yes, they can actually check out letshillphilly.org. That's a little marketing name. I was working with a young lady by the name of Ariel. She goes to Drexel. And
Oh,
she's
my
between
sister graduated from there. Mhm.
Yeah, she was working with me, kind of like we connected offline, and she came up with this Let's Help Philly campaign where we were going to take pictures and people will kind of demonstrate how they heal. And we wanted to post those pictures all over the city. And as I've been restructuring the website, I asked her if I could use it as a .org, to kind of that branding, that messaging of Let's Heal Philly. And she said it was cool, so it was really hers, but she just was using it for the campaign, and now I'm using it to kind of rebrand the website as it's being redeveloped. But it is up. You can learn get some of the basic information. It should be fully up. What's today? Thursday. I'll say about Monday or so. But website is always ever being revised.
Great, great. Do you have any merchandise or anything for sale on any of your websites or any of your personal pages? Yes, you do. So that's the Let's Heal Philly. Is that Let's Heal Philly?
Well, this is the Life Outside the Streets logo. You see the
Okay, Life Outside the Streets.
Yeah, Life Outside the Streets logo. So that's what we're using fundraising with right now. Life Outside the Streets t-shirts. I'm bringing back the It's Okay Not to Be Okay t-shirts, hashtag Treat Your Trauma. That was kind of like our leading item. I've really been focusing on building our back office. Anybody with money and a vision and a dream can become an entrepreneur. However, to build big business, you need a team. You need a team of individuals. You need personnel. So that's an area right now that we got to kind of build up in. I don't like to, want to say that it's struggle, but I'm saying as a Black community of entrepreneurs, we got to prioritize building out. And that means that we got to start relinquishing the one hat fits all and bringing in the team and recruiting. So that's what I've been doing. That's why I stepped down from my job back in September, where I was working doing positive support or climate and culture inside of Vaux Big Picture High School. I was also the after schools coordinator. However, the Lord, led me to resign from my job so that I can come out here full time and build my team. And now, I was, I'm so grateful that the job seen that it wasn't about me and it was about the purpose. It was about the mission, because I resigned in less than 24 hours and left with the blessings of the school. And now they're welcoming me back to host the Work Ready program throughout the summer, hiring Vaux youth to help us really kick things off this summer.
Oh, that is wonderful. So I remember that I was looking at the news or I was looking at your page, and I seen you with Councilman Kenyatta Johnson, and you both were talking about the title that's on your shirt. It says what is the title on your shirt?
Life Outside the Streets.
Okay, Life Outside the Streets. Could you tell us a little bit about that and what you're going to be doing with the community and what you raised and stuff like that?
So Life Outside the Streets, our mission is to treat trauma through arts, education, and information. And right now, our priority is to bring the messaging back, the positive messaging, specifically in the area of treating trauma. Untreated trauma is at the root cause of all the things that plague our community, from violence to addiction to any level of crime. It is a product of brain damage, which we call mental health, or which we call mental health. So the work that we do is around educating families, because we have a lot of agencies out here that are educating professionals, but the families and the children are the ones that are, I would say, on the other end of this science and this information. No one's really prioritizing to educate them formally. We are trusting the teachers and the professionals to work in the trauma-informed care science and approach. But if I can work something, with you that I've been trained on, but you'll be much more receptive to it if I train you on the same level, even though you'll be the recipient. So our position is we're training families or educating families in the same way that the professionals are educated. So now as families reach out and engage with these services, they have an understanding. One thing about our people, we like to know why or what is happening. We don't like to move in the dark with things. That hasn't worked very well with us. That's what got us to this point. So, Life Outside the Streets, we lead with education. In order to treat your trauma, the number one thing you have to do is create a safe space. It's not just about physically, it's about mentally. So that's why, you know, in our mental health, in the infographic that we created with on-demand resources on how to prevent a mental health crisis, the first step, or really second step, is to create a safe space. You understand? First step / second step. And how do you do that? You do that with a safety plan by identifying things that will de-escalate the situation, you know, giving them space. But I said all of that to say, because the video you saw of me on YouTube was basically, I was at one of Councilman Kenyatta Johnson's call to action after a kid was killed at a playground. And I was just there to bring our message around treating trauma. However, a week prior, I had made an announcement of the solution to ending, you know, gun violence in our city, which is to provide every neighborhood with our own personal security. The police are not security. Police are created and designed to respond to crime, not to prevent crime. You understand? Security agencies are there to prevent things from happening. So, you know, police, they come in when they get paid time and a half or paid by somebody to do security for events, but not in the community. The Black community is the only community on the planet that does not have security. The police are here to protect the citizens, every citizen outside of our Black culture, and they do that. We see that. We march about that. We cry about that. You understand? And then you have private entities like colleges, Temple University, University of Penn. They all have what? Their own security, and in some cases, police. Temple Police is the third largest police force in the state of Pennsylvania. You understand? So then there's private developments that have their own security. And then there's businesses that have their own security. But why is it the most vulnerable community in the world not have their own security? So I took the initiative to share with the world this project. And this project is a community development project. It's not me opening up a security company and I'm going to hire and I'm going to get the contract and I'm going to take care of Philadelphia. It's me creating a security agency along with the city that our community will be allowed to invest in through the purchase of private stock. You understand? So what that means is once the city of Philadelphia, whose is their responsibility, or at least is the budget of the city of Philadelphia to provide public safety, they will have to pay this now community-owned security company to provide that security. Before we get to the point where there's security guards on the block, what do we have to go through? We have to go through training. So all while creating an academy for the youth as well as adults to be a part of this security program, we'll be doing several things. We'll be creating signage around, you know, safety messages with our faces and our images of people from our community. We'll also be creating safety videos and tips. There's plenty of things that those of us that know where we can kind of give advice to young people outside of, if you're Black, keep your hoodie off. Just things about being aware, having your keys out when you walk in the house, you know, not parking in dark areas. It's basic safety tips that we can be offering and sharing with the community that some of us know, but we make the assumptions that others don't. And then most importantly, we will be training them. So through our academies, we create a place for young people, teenagers, that have a knack for combat, that have a desire to protect themselves and to protect their families. We're creating a legitimate platform to compete with the gang life. You understand? Right now, if I want to protect my family and I live in the hood, the best way to do that is to go with the streets, because the police can't protect us. The upstanding citizens that go to work every day can't protect us. But the people that's in the streets, they got the weapons and they do protect them. It's not in an honorable way, but that's why people turn to them. So we're creating this vehicle so that now we have something to compete with. So now if a person in the street tries to say, young boy, I give you 10 grand to take care of my problem, they ain't going to send you to jail. That young boy can say, you gonna give me 10 grand to take out this man to be on the run for the rest of my life, or I can go join the Security for Philly Academy and I can make 10 grand a job and don't even have to risk my life and protect my community in an honorable way. See, we got to stop telling people what they can do and actually bringing them the opportunity to do that thing that they can do and foster and support them and love them through the process. And that's what we're here to do.
Definitely, that was very, very well explained. So I think like what people should really, really like about your program is that it is actually addressing something that is long overdue, that should have always been addressed. And it has a lot to do with urban and African American and Black mental health, something that hasn't been addressed. And that's the root of a lot of problems. In fact, problems all around all around America, and Philadelphia is definitely one included in there. Um, so that's a really good thing you're doing. And can you tell us a little bit about the money that you're raising? Or I think you have a GoFundMe, and you
Yes.
were talking about
So
how
my
it started.
GoFundMe, right? So our GoFundMe, and in that video, what you witnessed was off of an elevator pitch. So that was 7 days. 7 days prior at Broadenality, I made the announcement. I kind of went over the plan, in the same way I went over it with you on an Instagram live video. 7 days later, I'm at another community event just to share the message. The purpose of the GoFundMe was to do two things. It was to create a space for us to organize in front of the world as a community and to show the community as well as the political leaders that we're serious about providing security in our community, and we'll put our money where our mouth is. It wasn't really to launch it from there. It was just to show the world that we're serious. You understand? So 7 days later, after Senator Anthony Williams heard a similar version of an elevator pitch while I was presenting there, no relationship. I don't know him personally. He just heard it, but he did right prior to us to me speaking say, if somebody has something that makes sense, I will back it. So I went up, I shared, and as you seen on the video, he said, "Oh, God works in mysterious ways." We were just talking about the budget. He said, "I'm gonna donate 25,000 of my own money,
Yes.
to
Yeah.
this cause, and I'm gonna commit 500,000 of the state budget to this operation." Because this is how we were able to stop the violence in the past with I forgot what the brothers what do you call it? I forgot what he called them. But it was the black men. They did a similar like thing in the past, like the Black Panthers when they went on the blocks and they stood there and they provided that security. However, the reason why it's very important that we do things the way that I'm proposing to do it is because when a citizen is providing security on the block, the police and the other municipals, the other police and agencies, they have a security authority over those individuals because they're still citizens. But once as we establish our own security company, and if needed, because I'm not into policing, but if we can police in a way that we don't pass our people over to this system, you understand? Because policing is management. But if we have our own security, if we have our own security service that we own, we sit at the table with the police. We sit at the table on the same because we're professionals. I'm not a citizen, so they don't have any authority over me. So when they come to the scene and our security is there, our security can address the police and make sure that they're following the same laws that they've been trained to do. You understand what I'm saying? So it's protection to protect us. I don't like to say to protect us from each other, but to create a space where we can build that fellowship and restore that village that we truly have. Because like people be like, it's going to be like a village. The fact of the matter is we are a village. And we need to uncover this fake facade that we are not a village. Everybody in the city is connected, is related, and we are one. And that is the narrative that we have to stand on, not tell. It's not even narrative. That is the truth that we have to educate people on. We are one village. And that's what hasn't been communicated, to our village. But just saying all of that to say, by doing it as an entity and an agency, that keeps us at the table with the mayor, with other polices. They can't come, and legally we're protected. See, with the Black Panthers and those groups and those kind of like volunteers, they don't have the same authority to sit at the table.
Right, right. I mean, it's a really, really well thought out, well strategic, and well made plan. So I see you going really far with this.
You
Um,
see us.
well, I see us, but actually, like you're the founder of doing this. So I noticed that a lot of times, in communities or just even with people, it's hard for them. Sometimes it's hard for people to take leadership. It's hard for them to take leadership. And even though it's a team, you still have players playing different positions. And some people have really good strengths in different positions. It's not that, everyone, the whole team doesn't matter. It's just certain people. It's just like a basketball team. If you want a certain amount of rebounds, you get someone. You might get Dennis Rodman, and if you want to know a lot of slam dunks, you might get Shaquille O'Neal, and if you want 3-pointers, you might get B.J. Armstrong. But I'm talking like basketball in the '90s, not right now. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. It
Absolutely,
has a lot to do
absolutely.
with teamwork, and a lot of things, a lot of plans fell through because people didn't know how to be a part of a team, and they always wanted to be the leader. So I do think that that your plan is well thought out, and like I said, I can see a lot of vision in this. It's going to go far. I
Thank
really
you. If
loved it
I
when I first seen it.
if I may just comment on your leadership statement. I agree. However, I would like to say that the the the, the failure, the failure of the success is not so much on the people that don't want to submit to the leadership. It's really the leadership, because you got to create a
Mm,
space where people are receptive to your leadership. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry.
mm. Okay, guys, Mr. Mckay will be right back in a second, so we're just going to wait here. And I just want to say hello to all of the viewers and the supporters. I do see you, so I just wanted to say hello to everyone.
Yeah, I'm
Why?
sorry.
What time?
Good.
Go ahead, I'm listening. Mm,
So yeah, so what I was saying was that and what I mean is, all to us, kind of like, I'm gonna start from the professional side. So let's say I'm running a school, right? And I have a
mm,
team of people, and they're not listening, they're not being receptive, and they're being difficult. The responsibility isn't on them to be like, oh, I got this opportunity, I'm supposed to be coachable. When I hire somebody, my hiring process was supposed to identify somebody that was coachable. So let's say, granted, somebody slipped through the cracks, right? I should have a system in place to evaluate and assess why they're not coachable. Instead of just being frustrated and saying, you should be this, your resume should be that. That's what I shared with my brothers earlier is we are establishing a village norm of when a person does not know something or they demonstrate that they do not know something, or we no longer are giving out reminders. We no longer are giving out directives. We are
mm-hmm.
only giving out educational lessons. So what does that look like? That means if you see somebody that don't know how to do something, instead of saying you know better than that, that's a reminder, or saying you should go look that up. You don't know how to do that, that's a directive. What we're gonna commit to is, you don't know that, let me teach you how to do that. You understand? Let me take the time and provide you with that, or let me sign you up for that training to fix that, to make you coachable, to get you to do X, Y, and Z. Because that's what's missing. But what we have now, because that's more work. That puts more work on the supervisor. That puts more work on the back office to add this training in. But what that does is that's a more loving approach. You understand? You can't scare people. You're not paying nobody enough to convince them. There's no paycheck worth it to kind of, you know what I mean? That's what we've been using. Oh, this financial security. So that has been exposed. So you can no longer sell them with the financial security. But if you offer love and knowledge, the people already know that's the most valuable thing on the land. It's just not being offered. So I just said all of that to say that when people aren't coachable, the norm is it's those people, it's these employees. People need to be taught better. No, it's the leadership. The leadership isn't taking the time to step back and recognize, hey, I hired the wrong people. So either I'm going to get to laying them off or replacing them with the right people, or I have to commit to training up them to carry out the job on the level that I want. And that's what we're committed to. We recognize that our problem is not that people don't have the desire, they don't have the resources, they don't have the drive, they don't have the proper training. So what Life Outside the Streets is doing is we're creating trainings in every area that we need growth in, and we're providing it for free or low cost so that we can develop that workforce that we need to carry out all these operations that are already in the works.
Okay, great, great. So do you have, in fact, what is some of your best advice to the younger youth in Philadelphia? What is some of your best advice on trying to be um, better, trying to learn better, do better, not engage in so many. Try like tonight, a person trying not to engage in so many violent activities or trying to turn their life around or something like that. Do you have any advice?
Yes. It's probably going to sound what some might call cliche. However, it's just the truth. You know, you got to go to experts in the field of your interest or your focus or what we're talking about in order to get the proper support. So what do I mean by that? You go to a hairdresser to get your hair done, right? I go to a mechanic to get my car fixed. What you just asked me is what is my best advice for a young person or an individual out here trying to figure it out? You got to go to your creator. You understand? That's the thing we have gotten away. We've gotten away from directing people to God, the source. So my message to the youth is you have to prioritize developing a relationship with God and learning what God says about you. Whether you believe what the Bible or the Quran says or not, I'm not interested in. Go do the research. Go read that holy word for yourself or that word or that book, even if you don't want to give it the honor. Go read that book and see what it says. See what these books say that God has designed for you to do. See, you understand, and learn, because there isn't any other source of anybody that is claiming to be the creator of us. You understand, and that's what's missing. And what they will find there, if they will find wisdom, they will learn, they will find, and they will gain the knowledge to discern right from wrong. They will gain the knowledge to learn that pride, which is the key thing that is causing destruction, they will learn that God says pride comes before destruction. So what does that mean? When that energy inside of you, that pride that say, oh, I don't want to do this because of that or this, because of your pride, God has already written that and told you that comes before destruction. So what does that do? When you know that God wrote that and he designed that, and that's what he told every human being on this planet, when pride comes, you're going to know to steer away from that. You're not going to embrace that pride and go the route with the pride. You're going to reject that pride. You understand? And you're going to stand on what God says, and you're going to make better decisions. God tells you all throughout the Bible how great you are, how wonderful you are, how much he has the best affirmations on the planet, all in those holy books. Nobody can ever speak to a person in the way that God can. But he also tells you the consequences of when you're being disobedient. And all of this murder and this death is written right there. He says when you ignore or you're disobedient and you don't know me and you don't learn my word, all of these babies and all this murder that we see is what God said will happen. So that is my advice. I can't, we keep trying to make it seem like it's an answer outside of the maker. You can't get a solution on what we're supposed to do outside of God, if you ask me.
Okay, well said. Do you have any upcoming events? Of any upcoming events?
Yes, we are on June 26th. We just partnered up with my brother Fareed Abdullah. I don't know if I'll say his name, but I call him Fareed. He ran for office a couple times, but he's having a community day of Germantown on June 26th, a week from Juneteenth. It's going to be that Saturday. Last Saturday, we were supposed to do our community day at Helen, where we were bringing workshops to the block, grief circles, trauma-informed care, self-defense training, all of those things. Everything we were going to do there, we're taking it to the 26th. So that's our next large outreach. What's coming up next is Work Ready. We're going to be working with we're scheduled to work with over 150 youth with our community partnerships with Work Ready, with Forget Me Not, with Inspire Me to Change, with Profit Vision, with Upscale Security. We got a bunch of community partners, that we'll be working with Miss She, with Miss Margaret Spiller. We're going to be basically this summer, the youth are going to be hosting and recruiting for what we're calling the Teen American Idol. So we're going to be providing that platform to shine a light and provide a pipeline for the youth to make it to Hollywood, but backed by righteous individuals. Right now, whether it's entertainment or sports, the only way to get on is through some type of criminal network. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that they're criminal, but unfortunately, the people from the streets have been the ones with the relationships to Hollywood. So if you want to get on, you got to go through the streets. The people that are upstanding citizens, they don't make enough time for the youth. They don't create that pipeline to build those relationships. But now we are, because I went from the streets and now I'm on this side. Me and people like you, but I got peers in my team. We had the relationship, we had the background, and we have a clean, positive platform. We're not endorsing the street life. We're providing a platform for them to vent and tell their stories, but we're telling them you can no longer be associated with that story that you're telling. You can no longer be a part of the violence if you want to be a part of this pipeline and you want to make it to stardom. Because we had the pipelines for our kids, but the people that have been in position haven't connected the pipelines. But that's what we're here to do. So we're creating a pipe so with the youth are going to be recruiting for people that want to participate in this Teen Idol reality show that we're hosting in Philly. So while we're doing that, that will create the platform where they will see that the I would say the upstanding citizen can create a platform as big as these other entertainers and celebrities, but is righteous. It's, you know what I mean? It's not tainted. I don't have to be in the streets. I don't have to endorse crime to get on. I can tell my story. I'm not against people telling their stories about crime, but we have individuals that are in position that even come from our city. They'll say, well, why you don't put the young boys on? Why you don't sign them? You get what I'm saying? I heard Meek Mill say out his own mouth. Well, because if I sign them, it ain't going to be safe for me. And if somebody do something to me, then y'all already know what's going to happen. Endorsing violence. Can't do that. We're not endorsing violence over here. You know, that's all we have across the board. These people, they show up and they say they give back, they spend their money, they do this and that. But when you ask them about how they carry themselves, they do it with violence. And you know, we're creating security to protect our whole entire village, not us. The security is not for me, it's for all of us. So, you know, but these individuals got security to protect them while they will use violence to resolve them. We won't resort to violence to move forward, to make a way. We will do it to protect ourselves and to protect our village. You understand what I'm saying? But we don't see violence as a tool to accomplish anything.
Do you work with any other organizations at the moment?
Yeah, also a couple of the names that I mentioned earlier, like Forget Me Not, those are organizations. They're all organizations that we work with. Shout out to Ebony Sons, that's ran by Russell Hicks. That's one of my mentors. A lot of people that I work with are friends, were mentors and/or community partners. Shout out Volks Big Picture. Shout out Youth Emergency Services. Shout out Gifted Solutions for You, ran by Shanice Clark. Um, the list goes on. You know, I'm moving forward. I'm gonna start having our community partner list. You know, I'm quite sure we get into the end of our interview. Our priority outside of creating these programs is fundraising. And moving forward, we have a couple tier recurring fundraising programs, recurring donation programs. So what I mean by that is we're going to be looking for 50 big business corporations to donate to our organization $1,000 a month for us to maintain our operational costs. Because right now we're all volunteers. We don't have any grant money, and we live off of donations. So we have this donation strategy where 50,000 a month is our operational cost for our staff and the budget that we need to operate. So we're campaigning to get 50 big companies to donate $1,000 a month. But we're also campaigning to get 500 small business / entrepreneurs to donate $100 a month. And then we're campaigning to get 2,000 individuals to donate $25 a month, you know, to raise that $50,000. Those will be the community partners and the people that we will be showing up for and getting the work done because they're funding the operations. Up until this point, you know, we'll still continue to work with others, but they will get the priority. They will get the priority of our time. You understand what I'm saying? Because we've been introducing ourselves to the community by just working with everybody, but now it's time to, you know, to hone in and work with those people that are really, really working for us. Pardon me just one more time. I'm sorry.
Sure. No, sure, sure. Okay, guys, Mr. McKay had to step away for a minute. He will be right back. And want to say hello to everyone who just came into the room because I normally don't have time when I'm focusing on the interview.
Woo! I'm back.
Okay,
Sorry, one man band over here today, so I had to,
that's fine.
jump out. I apologize to you and the viewers. I'm back though.
Okay. So we heard about the different people that you want that you're planning on to send donations or your donation goals because right now you guys are living or making your businesses solely off donation, and that's a wonderful thing to be able to get the community and people involved and businesses involved, and they will be able to share the fruits of their labor and what they invested in and what you guys are doing. So that is a great thing. So hopefully, I hope that in some way, shape, or form that me and you will work together, either in front or behind the scenes, hopefully when everything dumbed down, while the world is coming back. I do want to ask this question though. Um, Due to the impact of COVID-19 and live live performances, live events, we've lost over 600,000 people. Where do you see the future of like live events and because organizations run off live events and telethons and all that type of stuff. It's a really community thing, to go into meetings and train people and stuff like that. Where do you see that? Where do you see the future of that, of the world opening
Uh,
up?
I, I see it returning back to normal, and the reason why I don't say normal, I see it returning back to normal but more efficient. Because what COVID-19 has done for our communities in the world is prioritize cleanliness. You understand? And those of us that are familiar with it, it's like, yeah, you should have been through that. Here we go again, judging. You understand? Making the assumption that everybody grew up in a household where they learn how to clean. You don't just know how to clean. Everything that we know, we were taught. So COVID-19 forced the whole wide world to get a lesson on the importance of washing your hands, having a strong immunity, and that's what it is. COVID-19 isn't the killer. The killer is stress. You understand? COVID-19 is a disease that can attack your body. But even the CDC and all the experts told you that's dependent on how healthy your immune system is. So COVID-19 isn't the killer. COVID-19 is something that can make you sick in the event that you're not doing what you need to do to stay healthy and stay clean. That's why they were able to tell us to put a mask on and wash your hands to deal with it. These are normal things. What they did was they took the common cold. Think about the symptoms, runny nose, all the symptoms. They made the common cold a threat. What does that do? That creates anxiety. We weren't even allowed to go see our own loved one. So now when the body is stressed, it's not able to fight off radicals, period. Whether it's COVID-19 or what. You know what I mean? So the media, the way that they communicated the message to the new community is what killed people, not COVID-19. The way that they created the fear and the stress and all of that. So when people got sick, you can't have your loved ones, the thing that would help with the stress, the thing that helps with anxiety. They took all of those things away. And all of these scientists and doctors, we're talking about the CDC, they know this. They know this. However, the work that we do around treating trauma deals with healing the brain. Up until this Dr. Daniel Amen that we follow and we believe in his science, there was never a psychiatrist and no one from the medical field that looked at the brain as they treat it. The way that we deal with mental health in America is they judge it by what they call a paradigm that looks at clusters. So it looks at your behaviors. Oh, if you're depressed, if you're doing this, if you're doing that, if you have these three clusters, then you got PTSD. But what people don't know, if you look at all of the mental health conditions, all of the symptoms overlap. So it's always going to be a cluster. And all that they're doing is creating medicines like vaccines such as COVID-19, and they're testing them on the patients. And that's why everything that we see out here, anybody that's picking up a gun, anybody that's robbing, anybody that's committing a crime is evidence of brain damage. No one in their right state of mind is going to commit a crime. It's just scientifically proven. So I say all of that to say that these scientists know that by creating this stress, you understand that people are going to die. That's how they're able to project, because they already have the data on the health conditions of the whole nation, because they've been collecting that off of our normal doctor's visits that don't evaluate nothing. You understand? So but I say that things are going to go back to normal because the vaccine, the agenda around this whole COVID-19 thing is moving forward, and that's what they project. That's what they're communicating. Things are going to go back to normal, but they're going to be well, I'm not going to say hopefully, but we're going to keep those same cleanliness practices in place and demand that businesses honor them, because that's what they should have been doing in the first place.
Well said. So, before I wrap up everything, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
Yes, I want to kind of just read from the science section that will be on our website once it's done being revised. So we're going to have a section where we go over the science around trauma, and I want to kind of just read it to you. So I'm going to start with the problem. So exposure to psychological trauma is at the root cause of the destructive human behaviors that plague our community, such as violence and addiction. The American health system is currently doing a horrible job at treating those who are struggling with these brain health issues, better known as mental health issues. America currently uses an outdated diagnostic paradigm based solely on symptom clusters, which as a result causes them to fail miserably at effectively healing individuals. This is why Life Outside the Streets does not endorse the terms mental illness or psychiatric disorders. Along with Dr. Daniel Amen and Amen Clinics, we endorse the fact that reframing mental health as brain health changes everything. It changes, people will see their problems as medical and not moral. It will decrease the stigma, shame, and guilt associated with mental health. It will increase compassion and forgiveness for families struggling with brain health. It is a more accurate description of the biology involved. It elevates hope, which we need more than ever, and it increases compliance with treatment plans. And lastly, it teaches that your brain history is not your brain destiny. This is the hope, science, and access we need to heal our communities. Life Outside the Streets is committed to informing every citizen in our community on the importance of brain health. We are organizing to launch a corporate level marketing campaign to educate and provide access to resources and training for brain health management. There's lots in your future. Treat your trauma and join the Brain Fit campaign.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you for coming on the Indie Spotlight Special Edition Thursdays. And I would like to say thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to all the viewers and the supporters. We couldn't do this without you. And I would like to tell everybody, if you want to watch the full episode of of the Indie Spotlight Special Edition, go to the YouTube page entitled The Indie Spotlight Philly, and you'll also be able to listen to more on my Indie Spotlight Philly podcast, available on Anchor.fm, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And yeah, I would like to say thanks again for stopping by, and thank you for giving us all the information and where everybody can find you. They can find you on Instagram, and you also have a website as well.
Yep, they can find me on Instagram at CEOJONMCKAY. That's Jan Mckay, Jan with a J.
Jan. Like okay, I could pronounce Jan. Okay.
Yep. In our Life Outside the Streets website is Let's LETS Heal HEAL Philly PHILLY.org. And our Instagram for Life Outside the Streets is LOTS Lots _Inc. INC. Or you can go to Facebook, 215 Lots Inc., I believe, or it might be Lots Inc. 215, or just look up Life Outside the Streets. I did want to say formally, shout out to the Indie Spotlight. Tune in, log on, check them out on Instagram, check them out on YouTube, check us out because it's a family affair. If you support me, you support Indie Spotlight. Log on or get logged on.
Thank you. And I hope that you have I hope you have a great and blessed night. Thank you so much, Mr. Mckay.
Thank you so much, Queen. God bless you. Thank you for your time. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. Have a good night.